All of us saw that the Wuthering Waves community has been waiting for a spark for a month. Patches 2.5, 2.6 and 2.7 were not exactly thrilling. Sure, the story quests were amazing, but outside of that, the events felt weak, uninteresting, and most of us just clicked through them. The biggest criticism was the lack of the real combat event, and 3 patches in a row left players more bored and confused, I would say. So when the backlash hit after 2.7, a lot of players hoped that 2.8 would fix it, that this would finally be the patch that wakes the game up again. And on top of that, many people expected at least something about 3.0 since it's right around the corner. But when the 2.8 livestream happened, a part of the community walked away disappointed. Some players said things like, "This is not the peak we were waiting for." Even with the added combat events, the update apparently still feels underwhelming to them. There was no 3.0 teaser, the events do not feel like enough, and the main story content gives more of a dating sim vibe with Chisa rather than real story progression. And these are not things I heard from just 1 or 2 people. I saw comments like this while watching the livestream on Friday and again on Reddit, Twitter and YouTube when I was researching for the video. So today we are going to talk about whether Wuthering Waves 2.8 is really that disappointing, what actually looks good, and whether this backlash is justified or if this is just a loud group of players who cannot be satisfied no matter what. So get some tea or coffee, Starlights, and let us talk about what is going on, how this whole discussion started, and where we are now. When people talk about Wuthering Waves being in its dry era, they are not exaggerating. Patches 2.5, 2.6 and 2.7 created one of the longest periods of disappointment the community has experienced so far. And the frustrating part is that it did not come from the writing or world building. The story quests were actually good, the lore expanded, the characters had depth, and the people genuinely enjoyed the narrative parts of each update. But everything outside of the story felt empty. Event after event either reused all the mechanics or offered nothing interesting to do. There were barely any new activities, barely any rewards worth chasing, and no real reason to log in daily. I don't think people were upset for no reason, they were just watching opportunity after opportunity slip by, and honestly, I felt this too, especially during patch 2.7. I was extremely busy at the time, juggling work and trying to recover from being sick. I think many of you know that end of the year chaos whenever you're working, studying, or just dealing with life. So even when I logged in for a few minutes, at some point I realized that there was nothing to do beyond the main story. The Renacitas finale with the heroes assembly and the power of friendship done right was genuinely excellent. I loved the little nods to the original login screen. I loved how they tried to make the story feel unique, and I adored the way they presented Galbrina. There were a few small things that could have been done better, sure, but overall the story for me specifically, it was a solid 9 out of 10. I cried at the end because it reminded me how far we came since 2.0. But outside of that, the world started to feel empty once the story was over. I completed Shuiwan's story quest because I was specifically pulling for him, not because the quest itself offered something new. It was actually basically retelling the story's finale, but from his perspective, and I guess that is exactly the issue. For players who want to spend more time in the game, who want to engage more deeply, the lack of more diverse content became a real problem. For many people, patch 2.7 pretty much defined this quote-unquote dry era. The story was beautiful, but outside of it, the game felt empty, especially in the second half of the patch, and we all saw the videos and posts during that time. The backlash did not came from nowhere. Players were frustrated and they started noticing a pattern across 2.5, 2.6 and 2.7, and that is why I think the expectations for 2.8 were so high. People wanted a revival, a new direction, a bit of energy and challenge again, and I think a lot of that hype was also tied to the fact that 3.0 is right around the corner. Everyone was hoping that 2.8 would finally break a jaw or something. When the patch 2.8 finally came out, many players were holding their breath. People were hoping that this one would feel different. Maybe not completely miracle, but at least something that said pro games is listening. The livestream showed a new map, the fallen city called Hanami. The lore looks heavy. The city is stuck in a time loop, and ghosts of people that were living there are repeating their old lives again and again and again. The place looks stunning. It gives me the Last of Us vibe. We are also getting 2 new story quests, along with some new resonators, Chisa as a 5-star and Bullying as a 4-star, which is huge because we didn't get any 4-star in a year. Some people are already speculating that the story quest might feel more like for Lova story quest, where the focus is more on the character and their personality than on deep lore heavy content, but honestly we don't know yet. Then we have events. We got a proper combat event called Tactical Simulacra of Tune. We already saw events like Tactical Simulacra, so we know what we are going for. Plus a new tactical hologram for those who want to suffer, I guess. And a flag event called Stranger Things in Hanami. It is a detective-style event with combat elements, and it is also how we will explore the city of Hanami, from my understanding. It reminds me a little bit of the Banners Will Never Fall in Septimond, and for anyone who wants something that hints at the 3.0 region, we got that too, actually. The event Beats of La Heroi is clearly teasing the next big area and the next chapter of the story. Mechanically, Kuro Game did some heavy lifting as well. They reworked the entire negative statuses effect system. It might not sound like super flashy, but it shows that they're committed to making combat more engaging. On top of that, we got quality of life improvements like absorbing echoes from a bigger range, auto-supplementing materials, and performance and graphic upgrades. If you want a full breakdown, I did a short about it, so feel free to check it out. But the reaction from players was mixed. I was there during the livestream. A solid group of players felt disappointed. Many pointed out that the patch looks shorter than usual. The Zani skin discount reruns from November 20 to December 24, which can suggest that this might be a 5-week update instead of the usual 6. A shorter patch means fewer rewards, less time to save for pools, and free-to-play players definitely will feel that. Others simply called it another dry patch or just disappointing.
Guys, look, it's what everyone was saying, boring patch.
Many people were expecting a trailer for the new region at the end of the live stream, and instead we got nothing. That said, not everyone agrees with the harsh backlash. I also saw a lot of players defending 2.8 and trying to stay positive. A lot of CCs actually. They pointed out that Kuro Games will release a separate teaser for 3.0, just like they did with Renesita, with separate videos, proper developers talk, and maybe even, some cinematic additional previews. At the same time, I think some of the more aggressive backlash misses the context. This is not the patch 3.0, this is a transitional update. A new map, reworked mechanics, quality of life improvements, all of that clearly shows that Kuro is putting the effort. They are not just throwing, filler content at us, and even if expectations for 3.0 teaser were high, the way they handled Renesita suggests that they have their own strategy for that. But do I think 2.8 is 10 out of 10? Well, not really, but I think it is a solid 8 out of 10. There are a lot of things that actually excite me. I absolutely love the new map. It looks beautifully insane. Aesthetically, it is exactly what I imagined the post-apocalyptic world of Wuthering Waves. Outside of that, I am genuinely excited for the flag event, Stranger Things in Hanami. And I want to highlight this because the event includes mechanics that allow us to decorate the cafe there. And if you think about it, that could be even a small hint at a housing system in the new region. That would be amazing. I don't know about you, but I spent months perfecting my Serenity teapot in Genshin Impact, so anything similar instantly makes me happy. Outside of that, I am not pulling Chisa. Maybe if she turns out to be incredibly charismatic, I will think about it. I mean, she has a cat. But right now I want to save, especially with this Cyberpunk Edgerunners collab on the horizon. I need my pulls, I need to be ready. So I will treat 2.8 exactly as what it feels to me, a transitional chapter, something to keep us busy and connect to the game before the big drop. And I want to stay appreciative of that. Maybe I just don't want to burn out on negativity, especially when I can clearly see that they are trying. Truth to be spoken, people at Kuro Games I think are artists. I can see progress with every update. Yes, they absolutely should focus more on the endgame content, because I personally also would love to use my fully built characters in something more challenging a little bit more, but with each character, each story, and each map, they experiment, and even if something does not fully work, like, I don't know, the quick time events in dialogues, never do that again, please. I still see them trying and exploring new ideas. That tells me that they care about Wuthering Waves, and because of that, I'm not that worried. I truly believe the developers are listening and doing their best. Did they deliver the perfect patch? I don't know. Let me know down in the comments, what do you think about 2.8? Do you also saw 2.5, 2.6 and 2.7 as this drop era, as a lot of players mentioned? Tell me everything in the comments. I love talking about those things with you. And as always, stay cozy, stay shiny, and I love you so much, Starlights. Bye!